Maybe you had a spirograph when you were a kid, or even if you didn't, you probably know what a spirograph is. What you're looking at here is my spirograph simulator, inspired by YouTuber Sort of School, who was inspired by YouTuber 3Blue1Brown, who issued a challenge over the summer to all the math explainers on YouTube to make some uniquely interesting videos. Sort of School did a video about the math of spirographs, and he encouraged his viewers to explore further. Now, he was interested in the static patterns that come out. I find myself drawn to the kinetic aspect. I like watching them in motion, so my simulator is all about the motion. Here's the basic idea of what I've done so far. Each ring is a spirograph in its own right. You can see if I pin one ring and let the ring inside it move, it looks like a normal spirograph pattern. The interesting part, for me at least, is what happens when you combine the motions. I'm not a mathematician. When I was a kid, I thought I was. I thought I would be. But I hated high school trig, and calculus just wasn't as beautiful as it had seemed from a distance. In college, a measure of hope returned when I took unit circle trig, which has indeed some beauty that is within my intellectual reach. But then linear algebra kicked my ass, and although I managed 2 semesters of calculus okay, multivariable calculus finally convinced me that I'm not a mathematician. People tend to think that software development requires advanced math skills, but software development is an incredibly broad industry, and in my decades-long career, I've never really needed math beyond the most basic algebra. Math is just not a fundamental requirement for most software. In fact, if you watch this guy, Paul Hudson, who does a lot of tutorials on how to use the Apple development tools I've used to create this app, you'll hear him occasionally warning his viewers that there's going to be some math in this one, although it's junior high school geometry at worst. I've written this in Apple's Swift programming language, mostly because it's the language I'm currently most fluent in, having been doing nothing but Swift for a couple of years. Unfortunately, that means if you want to run my app, you'd have to get it from the Apple App Store, and I currently don't have the emotional energy necessary to deal with all the hoop jumping that would be required to get my app up on the Apple App Store. So in case anyone wants to play with this, and just because I'm a total nerd, I'll be porting this to JavaScript so I can put it on my website. Let me know if you're interested in knowing more about it, contributing your software development skills, contributing your ideas for cool features, or whatever. Special thanks to the aforementioned Paul Hudson, from whom I've learned an app ton.